This is something we're going to do and put it in the vault here because I guess we've done this before. So the concept is pretty simple. You've heard it before, but who would you rather have of these players? I think it's fun to kind of do it maybe twice a season. So we'd had this list, and now's the time to get to it. So there's no prep. I don't even know what these are, which is, I think, the way to do it today. Yeah. That's the mood I'm in. So let's go for it.
Yeah, it's funny. I think we've done this twice before. People seem to like it. We did it at the beginning of last season. So I think like October of 2023. So it's been a while. And I went back and listened to it this morning. Some funny stuff in there. We did a Steph versus KD one, which was good. We did a Luka versus Devin Booker. We did a Luka versus Embiid. That was coming off that like weird Luka season where it was like, is he actually that great? Like the efficiency's bad, like the usage rate's too high. And then obviously he goes to the finals. So good times there. Seems like those are obvious now. We had an AD Embiid one too.
The part of this that's funny is that in the moment you'd be like, oh, and then just looking back, which I think is important. Like when you're thinking about different trades and stuff, like for real, how much of a swing there can be, at least perception wise, of like where a player is. Wait, so what was the Luka one? Did I pick Booker?
No, we all stuck on Luka. We picked Luka.
Thank God.
Yeah. Because it was like people were starting to jump off the bandwagon, and obviously Embiid's coming off the MVP, and it was like, oh, what do you think?
The way you said that, I was like, I know I'm the biggest Booker guy probably going nationally, and then I'm like, did I say that?
You like, kind of were an Embiid guy, though, but that was years ago, and then it's slowly sort of, as he's becoming less and less available and reliable.
Yeah, I think well, the thing that's funny for my Embiid journey is if you go the full circle part of it. Now, granted, he didn't play the first couple of years because Hinkie didn't want him to play. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that, but then he plays the 31 games. So is this the start of a career for a guy that you already have to make an extension decision on? And I had, infamously said, I don't think I'd want to give him the extension. I think I'd want to trade him. And I've got murdered for years. So that guy wins the MVP, at his best, he was easily a top 5 player in the league. But then I think I was the first to just start going, why are we just assuming this guy's like a top 5 guy, doesn't play all the time? I don't think I'm allowed to do a full circle. Like, hey, I was right about that 6.5 years ago when I said it about Embiid, but I'm less wrong. I'm not right. I don't think that's right when you get a guy who gets the MVP, but I don't know what it was. It was a couple possessions against the Knicks in the playoffs where I know what his stats say he did. And then I think the Olympic foul hunting is when I finally was like,
you're out.
Really over it. Yeah. Anyway, this is your segment. So
it is funny because, and I'll get to them in a second, but so we were maybe going to do this like maybe 3 months ago or so, and I wrote down some names, and even from there, it's like, wow, these are stupid. Like I had a Paul George or Jalen Johnson, and that was kind of when Jalen was like on the up, and Paul wasn't a total disaster yet. And it's like, all right, am I trying to get ahead of this? I had
3 months ago, that kind of makes sense. But go ahead, I'm interrupting.
No, I had a Trae Young Halliburton one because Halliburton kind of wasn't awesome, and Trae was kind of figuring it out again, and both those look stupid now. So
he's passing the ball up the court.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see which ones. I think I got a couple here. And then I got a fun one at the end that's like a bunch of players that I want to throw at you. But why don't we start nice and easy? Because I feel like this is kind of the battle, maybe with Luka for the second best player in the league. But let's just start off. SGA or Giannis? And by the way, we should do parameters. This isn't 5 years. This is probably like the rest of this year, the playoffs, maybe even into next year, like a full year, maybe. It's short term.
Giannis. SGA's, he's going to win MVP. I understand, but I think I was looking at MVP voting last night, and I consistently, I think over 3 years, it's not like I've had a vote for a decade, but I think I consistently have Giannis higher than other people do. And, I would say if you asked anybody else that, they would, I don't know who else would say Giannis.
It kind of does feel like we've forgotten about him, which is shitty. Would you say Luka over SGA too?
No, not right now. I mean, I think peak Luka is better than peak SGA, but there's just too much unknown of, what will Luka look like. All that time off, the kind of up and down He's on. I think the best version. Again, I've already said it, so I don't need to repeat it. The best version of Luka to me is a better basketball player, but I would feel way more comfortable just signing up for whatever this SGA is going to be the next couple months.
Yeah.
You?
All right. How about Donovan Mitchell or Ant Edwards?
Wow. The Donovan Mitchell conversation, like he never gets brought up as MVP,
Nope.
right? Yeah. So like the SGA will look at their record, look what they've done, because that's going to be the deciding factor against Jokic. But then I never hear Mitchell ever. So I don't know what, I mean, granted, Mitchell's numbers aren't SGA's, so maybe it's as simple as that. But I was thinking about it the other night when I was trying to figure out my vote. I was like, let's dig into the Mitchell thing, because there's also like a minutes thing with him where he's just playing less because they've been beating teams the way that they have. And I probably should double check that stuff right now. So look, I like Ant better. So I'm just going to say Ant, even if I can understand that right now is the worst time to say that. You?
I think I'd go Mitchell. The Ant thing is like he's always going to have it with like defensive side of the ball. But I don't know. There's something about Mitchell right now. Like, do you think the Cavs are as good as they are if you just swap those two guys?
So SGA on the Cavs and Mitchell
on Donovan on the Wolves. So if you put Ant Edwards on the Cavs, are they where they're at now?
Yeah, I think they'd be fine. You don't?
No, I don't think they wouldn't be fine. I just think there's something about Mitchell right now that's just kind of he's on a different level, I think, than Ant. The step back thing from Cat losing Cat, the team maybe is getting a little bit too much in my head, but there's just something about Donovan and the way he's playing. And I think Ant is the more well-rounded player. He's bigger. He's obviously a little bit younger, which I don't think really matters that much in this exercise, but I'd give a slight edge to Mitchell right now. I think I got to give credit to Mitchell right now. But I think most people would take Ant, and I think I wouldn't argue with you.
Yeah, I'd rather have that size. I'd rather have that defense.
Yeah. So, all right, this is a fun one.
I mean, the SGA stuff, if we're bringing that one back to, the advanced stuff for where SGA and Mitchell are right now, it's the advanced part of it. It's like not even close. Again, what SGA is doing, at least on some
people like free throw merchant. I hate that. But
yeah, yes. He takes more free throws. He plays 3 more minutes a game, and he's still you feel like Cleveland still has to share it a little bit more. But the Mitchell advanced SGA, if you put that up blind resume, you'd be like one's a 1 seed and the other's like a 7 seed in the NCAA tournament. It's not even close.
This one might be a slam dunk for you, but I want to ask it anyway. Mobley or Cat?
Mobley.
I think most people would say. Cat is having a pretty unreal. For a Cat doubter, and I've really never been a Cat guy. Like, you got to give him credit this year. He's certainly a significantly better offensive player than Mobley. I think the Mobley thing has gotten better, obviously, from 3, and he's definitely a little more intriguing. I was kind of captain of the zag on the Mobley thing. I wasn't just zagging for the sake of zagging, by the way, guys. I think that was a legitimate zag. I was worried about the offense. But I do think you're right. Like, if you want to win a championship, I don't think either guy's a 1, but Mobley anchoring your defense is probably more valuable than what Cat brings offensively, right?
Yeah, Cat's been awesome this year. He's going to be second team All-NBA. I don't really think there's any doubt, as we kind of did it in pencil with Bill and I on Sunday. I was just looking at him like, yeah, I think it's just going to be Cat's slot there for second team. But I don't see Mobley getting attacked. I don't see anybody going, this is how we want to close out this game. As great as Cat is offensively,
his efficiency numbers are outrageous. He's like just to play the devil's advocate Cat side. Yeah. He's been unreal.
No, I think a lot of people will think we're crazy for this one, because at least Cat gets you buckets. He stretches everybody out. That pick and roll stuff, all of those numbers with he and Brunson when that's rolling. But yeah, neither guy's a 1. You can run your offense through Cat. I still don't even think you really would run your offense through Mobley, where a lot of this stuff is kind of off of something else. But yeah, I'd rather have Mobley.
Yeah, I think your team is probably better if Cat's your best player, but I'd rather have Mobley if I'm trying to win a championship.
Seriously, ask it this way. Say that trade were on the table. Who would have like a quicker no, the front office? Like if Leon Rose and his staff were talking about it versus Kobe Altman with Cleveland, like who was sitting in the room as they're going like, we can do this right now. Which group is getting to know quicker?
Although, you know what'd be funny? I mean, Cat with Jared Allen is a pretty sick fit.
Yeah, maybe that's actually perfect.
But I mean, I don't know. I think it's Mobley. I think it's Mobley. But hey, credit to Cat. I'm happy for him, man. You know, we've probably this has probably been a hater Cat podcast for a few years now, but happy for our guy. Here's a fun one. This guy,
I like the term truther.
All right, truther's fair. I'll give you that. Realist. I think Devin Booker has been in one of mine every single year that we've done this, dating back to 2022. So let's just keep it rolling. Cade Cunningham or Devin Booker?
Oh, man, you're really messing with me. Okay, but what are we talking about? Because you didn't really say 5 years out, but it seems like the future is part of it.
I said the next maybe calendar year, end of next year, even give it like 18 months, even less than that, really. But yeah, 15 months.
So it's what?
It's not a 5 year, like it's obviously like if you're building a franchise, your kid's a few years younger. But no, I mean both guys are kind of in their primes. They're going to be in their primes for the next 2 years. So which one?
Yeah. The efficiency stuff for Booker's taken a bit of a hit. And defensively, he's never really been a guy that you're like, I think it's effort and competitiveness. It's the stuff that I always like about him. But if you look at some of the box score stuff, it's just not really there. Give me 2 years of Booker. This has been an unbelievable year for Cade, but Booker's played in the NBA Finals. He's 28.
This has been a Cade Truther podcast. Both you and I have not sold any of our Cade stock over the years. I've been adamant about that, and it's just good to see it coming. You know, the fruit is coming to bloom here.
Yeah, and he's been great with Chauncey Billups this year. He just saw it. He saw it in him.
What about, actually, let's just do this quickly. Cade or Mobley? Same draft class.
Cade.
It's Cade, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just because, I mean, as much as we all love Mobley, and there's going to be, again, the all-NBA thing, if you were going to use that in the cap part of it, like Mobley's probably making a team, but, getting me a bucket when everything's falling apart, that's probably still the most important thing. I mean, it is. I think it's the most important thing. Like, if you don't have that, you have no chance in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Agree. All right, I got 2 left. The last one's like a bigger one, though. So this one is the
Giddy Ty Jerome.
Nope, not Giddy, although you could do it if you want. I'd still take Ty. Although Giddy, yeah, good stuff,
Shooting numbers?
Finally free of the stringent OKC system. He gets to spread his wings a little bit in Chicago. I've never been a big Giddy guy, I'll be honest. But
I think at his size and his playmaking, it was really, really fun in the beginning. And then he just became somebody who couldn't hit a shot. Although the guy, he might be in the 3-point contest next year if he keeps this up.
Magic will give him $30 million a year. Who knows? Let's see. This one is the I don't want this guy on my team all-star debate. Bradley Beal or Julius Randle?
Wow.
I feel like we need to that and throw like a little bit of a, which one would you rather not have? But this is, you have to have the guy for, say, 2 years. Who do you want?
My God. Yeah, like we're not even talking about like the money or anything, just like the dude.
Just
honestly, I think I'd rather have Randall. I mean, I watched a lot of last night's game. Phoenix is such a fucking mess on defense. And they look around, and look, there was a play where there's a clip of Beal like looking around, and it wasn't Beal's fault on that one. But there are times with him where he's just completely upright. Like, all right, the point guard is coming in, the screen is set up, you know what's about to happen, and you don't know necessarily like, hey, which side should I play or which side should I favor? But you know what's nice? Get into a fucking stance. Like, prepare. Pick a fucking side. and he'll just be completely upright with no interest whatsoever. Of like even if you guess wrong, at least you guessed. And I think that guy is so comfortable just cashing a check. Like Randall's going to not get back on defense. He's going to hold on to the ball too. Like we've already covered all the stuff with Randall that I don't necessarily like, but I think Randall still competes.
He cares. That would
and
be
I don't think Beal is probably one of the most talented, least competitive basketball players I've ever watched. Like hell, Jordan Poole competes.
Yep. I think Randall, this is like the I can fix him girl, when she's trying to look for somebody to marry. Like Randall's like, if you could just channel that energy the right way, like I know that you care. Like it's not always in the right way to winning basketball games. And that to me is, I'd rather be frustrated with that guy than the guy who just, I don't even notice is there half the time.
Yeah, I think that's the right answer. Man, that was a tough one. You have one more?
One more, and this is a big one. I want to do Cooper Flagg, because I know you've watched some games, versus a bunch of under 25 guys in the league right now. So Wemby's a no. Ant is a no. Paolo or Franz?
Paolo's a no. Franz is a maybe. I'd say Franz is a yes.
So I guess we should get a background on the Cooper Flagg thing, because I haven't watched a ton of Duke games. I've watched highlights of him. I guess the prevailing thing is that he's a pretty good defensive prospect. Obviously, he's huge, and it's like, will the offensive side of his game ever really kind of get there? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I think what was in the 4 games that I've watched now with him, the part that's been most impressive is he can play defense. Like he can hold up in switches, and he had a play. I forget. Yeah, it was a North Carolina game where ultimately North Carolina couldn't score against them down the stretch. And he actually kind of guessed wrong on something, but he was the low man. And there was this window where it looked like North Carolina was going to get this layup, and his recovery to get over and block the shot was just one of those clips where you go, okay, this is special kind of shit. His aggressiveness is probably my favorite part of it. The fact that he can bring it up in transition. He obviously can finish. The shooting has been good. It's not, I don't know if it's like, look, the numbers are really good. The free throw part of it's good. So he's going to be a shooter in the NBA. But I love the passing, man. The passing for him. Like he got doubled and he found like the perfect skip pass. He's like swung it to the other side. Just kind of some of the stuff that you don't really expect to see from somebody this young. So I think there's just a lot going on there with him.
So if Cooper is Franz, that's a disappointment.
Yeah, I don't love the comp stuff, but the way I talked about Chet with the Open, where it's like, man, this guy can kind of do a bunch of different things, and if you get switched onto a perimeter guy, you still like your chances. But he's not as big as Chet, but he's certainly sturdier. And 38% from 3 as a freshman playing in these high-level Duke games with a team that has a chance to win a national championship. So I shouldn't even really question any of the shooting stuff because it's only going to get better there. I guess the passing, his playmaking, his vision, the fact that he's a willing teammate, that's actually some of the stuff that I fell in love with Paolo, where I was like, he could just take every single shot and it would still probably be the best option here for Duke, but he doesn't want to play the game that way. And that's why I'm just so excited about him as a basketball player. So it's not the same thing where I think you're going to be running Cooper Flagg and high pick and rolls and then being like, all right, dime dudes up all over the place. Because I think he's different than that. But yeah, there's a lot there for somebody his size with his athleticism, and I think he's got some motherfucker in him too.
So I had Chet down too. So Chet, would you take Cooper over Chet?
Only because of the injury part of it.
Okay,
but that might be, that could be the one at the end of a playoff run where it's an absurd answer because Chet might be on the cusp of like putting together something really nice here in big games.
I love Chet last night. God, I love watching him play.
Him. I'm so glad you appreciated it last night.
I've always been a Chet, but I've got shit from Magic fans left and right because I've always loved Chet, and I'm happy we have Paolo. But like, Chet.
Could that be something where if you were to there's a segment that exists that I think we've talked about, where you go, is this question answered? Right? So you could get into like Andrew Wiggins, Jabari Parker. Has that question been answered? Yes, I believe it has. I believe it has.
On that one.
Has the Chet Paolo question been answered?
The answer is still the same. Both teams, I think, are more than happy with the guy they got. And if you swap them, I think it wouldn't work as well. The Magic need Paolo. And I think I don't know how Paolo would work hypothetically with Thunder. Like maybe he'd be sick. He'd be an upgrade on certainly be an upgrade on Jalen Williams. But I don't know. I think both teams are happy. Both teams played hard.
Both teams played hard.
Yeah. Well, is there anybody else? So Cade, you probably take Cade over Cooper Flag, right?
Yeah.
Mobley.
Yeah. I'm always going to have just a bit more resistance than maybe other people would on dudes that I've already seen do it and do it at a high level that are really young. And I'm like, okay, I think at this point I know exactly what I'm getting, as opposed to that frightful unknown of, what if Cooper can't quite like figure out where, but I think Cooper's the kind of guy, even it depends on the team and where he is in the hierarchy of the offensive options and that kind of stuff. There's other things that he already does so well that if he's not 20-10 as a rookie in the NBA, it could still be really impressive. And that's what I think is so exciting about him.
What about, let's just run through him quick. Scotty Barnes, Cooper Flag. Contract not involved.
Yeah.
Although maybe you do put the contract in there.
If there's a time to just not even debate it, would be now, because people are just so down on Scotty Barnes. Okay, where was he in the Ringer Top 100?
I just had this up. Hold on. He's still pretty high. I think 43. He's high. There's a lot of Scotty Barnes people at the Ringer. I'm not one of them. I don't get a vote, though. So
you don't have a vote?
I shouldn't get a vote. Come on. It's fine.
Why not?
Because I'm not part of the NBA crew. I'm just a guy, If we were doing a Ringer soccer World 100 list, then yeah, sure, I'd be upset. But
Notting Hill.
A couple more. Amen Thompson.
Right. Yeah, that one's God, it feels so stupid to say no. And meaning, because like, what's the best? I think Amen is so special that maybe the ceiling part of it, but I don't know. I think so many of us that love League Pass have like fallen in love with that dude.
Yeah.
Maybe too much, but I'll say no, which seems really fucking stupid.
I can do this forever, so we don't have to name 1,000 names, but I just kind of want to get a baseline of where we were at.
Yeah, good. Right. And then when Cooper's putting up like 27, you're like, remember you wanted Amen Thompson over
yeah. Because of a couple months stretch on League Pass. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but dude, there's not many players like Thompson who can not score and feel like they're impacting the game more than anybody else that's out there. And I love that kind of stuff. Maybe not as my number one scoring option, but I do appreciate it.